we're starting out by building a new app. So that's just going to compile a whole bunch of things that dependencies that we need in order for our project to work. We're going to start out with migrations and seeding data. So let's get started with migrations first. I'm going to move that to the in progress tab. And here is kind of, I've already built this out in Notion, just so we have like a starting point of the things that we need. And then I'm going to go ahead and create that database in Table Plus. That's what I'm using. And then once that's created, I'm just opening it up. There's nothing in there, but still just wanted to open it up. And then I'm going to check my env file because I have to change my database. So I'm just refreshing it here and I'm like, hey, there's no tables. Why come there's no tables? And then I'm like, oh, I need to migrate the tables and then maybe they'd work. Oops, error. It says access denied for user root at localhost using password no. Basically, when I was in that env file, I added the database to my env file, but I did not add my password. So remember, if you're using a password, make sure that you utilize the password that you actually have for that, or else it's going to give you that error that says it doesn't exist. So I'm putting in the password right now. The password's password. Hey. And then I'm going to try to migrate, and it successfully completes. And so now I have a users table. So let's see what's there. Looking at the migration, and it's creating a users table. And I'm going to roll back the table because there's things I want to add, but I don't know the right command for it. So here it is. Lovely. So I rolled back the tables I just migrated. This is my brain. And so now I'm going to remove the things I do not want and add the things that I do need. So I'm keeping the name and the email and the timestamps and the ID field because those are the things I need. But I'm going back to Notion, and I'm seeing my table has phone, date of birth, and a phone and a date of birth. And so I need to add those things as well on here. The rest of those things are already going to be present. The created at and the updated at is going to be the date for timestamps. So those are automatically included when you reference timestamps method in your migration. I'm just being careful here because I'm like, what date do I want? And then I don't want date time. I don't care what time you were born. I just care about the date that you were born. So that's why I've chosen date here. All right, then we're going to go back and migrate again. I would like to point out that you might see some other tables there. Those come with Laravel. Right now, I'm creating a new migration for appointments because I have an appointments table. As you can kind of see here on that left-hand side, kind of peeking out on that Chrome browser, it says appointments and it has like type ID and stuff like that. So I needed that table as well. So I'm just grabbing that migration I just made, and I'm just going to make the updates that I need. So to this, I'm just going to add the fields that I need in this table. And in this instance, the date of appointment, I do want the date time. And then I've created the 3 Boolean fields of completed, cancel, and no-show. Those are just going to be, of course, true-false fields. And they're all defaulted to false. Some magic for you there. The type ID, I did not have the types table, so I did not want to create the type ID just yet. I wanted to create that types table, and that's going to be important later on. So let's have a look. Different. It's a different migration, same concept. This is user appointments. I think I'm gonna change this so that user appointments is the name of the appointments table, and then I'll just grab the user ID instead of having a third table there, a fourth table rather. I'm probably going to end up making that change. Not to worry, I will push all my code to GitHub, so you'll see any changes I've made. And they won't be major. So, at this point, I'm looking something up because I don't remember how to do foreign keys in the migration. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. So, unsigned integer. And then you have to choose where it references, what table it references from. This user ID represents the ID on the users table. That's what that means. And I had to change the method call because I'm using Laravel 7. And then I'm just doing the same thing with the appointment ID. Again, like I said, I'm probably going to remove this table altogether and then move the user ID to the appointments table, and I'm going to rename that table to user appointments because that makes more sense. Again, you know, things change. You start thinking more about things that make more sense, and then you go back and fix them. So, like I said, this code will be on GitHub. I will leave you a link. Let's go back. I'm using Notion, and this is my first time using it for like a project. So I'm like, oh, I forgot to go and check off the things I've done. So there's that. I like checking things off lists. So if you're a fan of that, this might be something, or something like this, you might want to check out. At this point, I have one more table left. It's that types table that I need to add. This one's fairly straightforward. It's just the ID and a name. This project is, like I mentioned, this is basically because of my dentist office. So I chose to make everything like a dentist instead of like a doctor's office. So that's why you have things like annual cleaning and stuff like that. Now I gotta go back and address this type ID. So now I'm going to add a foreign key on the appointments table. I don't know what's taking me so long to type this. Just type it, Tiffany. Oh, my memory. Okay. I was like, how does it go again? This is my memory nowadays. It's different when you're recording it, you know, and you realize, oh no, I forgot this. Okay, so now I have everything. It seems like this is going to become very important. Let's figure out what's happening here. Let me pause right here. The error is general error, failed to open the reference table types. And then as you can see, it says appointments, add constraint, appointments, type ID, foreign key, type ID, references, types. This error is because when I ran my migration, I said, hey, migrate these tables. Well, when I created the migration, I created the table that needed the types ID migration before I created the types table. So it's trying to reference it, and it doesn't know that it exists because it's going in order of when the migration was created. So hopefully that makes sense. And we're gonna see how I go about fixing this. So let's move forward. I rolled back the table. So I did a rollback. I said, okay, let's roll back and start over. And then I'm gonna delete this table. I'm going to run the types migration. So if you can, hopefully this is big enough for you to see, but it's migrating the create types table first, and then I can run the other migrations, since now it sees that there's a types table. And there you have it. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm very excited about the series, like to finally be able to code with y'all. Hopefully you enjoy it. Leave me a comment below if it was helpful for you. If you want to see more of this stuff, if you have questions, please let me know down below. The next video you're going to see in this series is gonna be how to seed data. So if you're not familiar with seeding data, it's populating your tables with fake data. So we have our tables now, they're all set up, and they're ready to go, but now they need data so that we can actually start messing with things. Seeding is a very important part of any kind of project, so hopefully you stick around, and we'll catch the next video in the series. Thanks for watching, y'all. Catch you next time.